Text by Thich Om. Speech generated by AI. The devilish interval. Hidden. Again and again, we are told that paradise is present, that God is present in every atom, that only a very small thing separates us from nirvana, from ultimate understanding, from enlightenment. Well, it is a very small thing that separates us from creation. Can it be described? Can we get any closer to it? The gate to eternity would open at that very moment. So, let us dare to attempt to give the hidden interval a comprehensible form. Timeframe. The invisibility of this delay, which is simultaneously as minimal as imaginable and without any limit, is anchored, among other things, in the timeframe experienced by the human body and mind. But even more so, it is about the underlying, primal form of prejudicial observation. When we observe our existence, search for the signs promised to us, thus looking for the presence of the goodness of the love of creation, we can only find it with great difficulty, if at all, only in the tiniest fragments. Blind. This is because we don't truly believe. In the way we observe, we deny ourselves any possibility of seeing. Our belief is not internalized. We are trapped in conditions. And within these conditions, there are only vanishingly few instruments, visual aids, that could move us to see beyond this tiny hill that appears insurmountable. History. A little story, seemingly as harmless as something from Grandma's sewing box, brings us a tiny bit closer to this interval, but even with this parable, we won't even begin to grasp the fullness, the perfection, the infinite relief, this holy moment. It remains a clumsy narrative. So it happened in a distant land that a severe drought lasted for months. The seeds were lost in the wind on the thirsty soil, and no wells yielded even a drop of water. In a small village, the elders decided to counter the disaster by summoning all the people in the area to a great prayer for the precious water. Everyone, whether old, sick, or even bedridden, was to attend. Because the need touched the very core of the people, and even though death accompanied some of them, young and old, infants and the elderly, the lame and the bedridden appeared on the way to this gathering. Fervently, from the depths of their souls, the people called upon their God, each for themselves, and with an intensity that only extreme need can produce. They prayed and pleaded, begged and supplicated, begged and wailed. In vain. Not a drop of rain fell. For 5 days, the people sat together, 5 days of fervent pleas. Finally, full of grief and bitterness, the people dragged themselves back home, where the cruel thirst, the dried-up fields, and the dead animals awaited. An old, gray-bearded man sitting on a rock grabbed the churchman responsible for the prayer of supplication by the sleeve. "I can tell you, man of God, why it didn't rain. Not one of you had an umbrella with you." He chuckled, stood up, and shuffled into the heat. Time. Exactly the same is how we behave when we ask God for help and are unable to perceive it. We ask for something, but our mental concept tells us that the request comes first and then, subsequently, is answered. That is our concept of time. So we place a distance, an interval, between our request and its fulfillment. This interval, it is our disbelief. This is obviously very difficult to put into words, but we are essentially turning ourselves inside out in a true, real request that does not know this interruption, this interval. Paradise here is God, the all-pervading, absolute love of creation. For the Son of God, it knows no pain or suffering, no thirst or hunger. It knows no time between the request and the fulfillment of this state, because the corresponding non-state is pure illusion. Our request, without an umbrella, is therefore bland and dry, not coming from the heart. We believe too little. Our image of God is still rooted in dualism. Conclusion. What is needed here is a truly internalized trust, a boundless devotion to the will of creation. An unshakable, childlike, idiotic belief that, not my will, but only yours be done. How could I possibly think that a request to love would not be fulfilled instantly? As instantly as is possible without any concept of time. This is more than mere misunderstanding, it is a cognitive misunderstanding, and the resolution is the sacred moment for which everyone is predestined.